Well, hello there, Apple Bites. This is your Apple Bite. Written Rit Ralph talking to you. That's our friend Nat down below. And of course, this is our guest, M. Sorcier.
Yes, you got it right.
Oh, there we go.
You'd be surprised. People are like sorcerer.
Well, that's because you want to say sorcerer. You know, it feels really D&D-ish. You're
It's
like,
on brand.
oh, you're a sorcerer?
I've played a sorcerer from time to time.
Well, there you go. So it kind of fits.
They're fun to play. Wild magic,
They're a
go.
blast.
Hi, Shan.
Of course, there goes our pal Shen saying, hey guys, and our guest from last week is showing us a ton of love here by sending us a bunch of the journey continues and little emojis being happy and whatnot.
Nice. Good energy there.
Oh, it's always great to have good energy here. And of course, it's always fun to have good energy. And let's start this off right by you telling us all the things we need to know about what you're working on. Give us your spiel.
All right, my spiel. Well, I am M. Sorcier. I'm a self-taught artist and writer from Bronx, New York, and I'm the creator of The Misadventures of Buddy and Friend, which is a stupidly funny comic that pretty much reads like a D&D campaign where everyone rolls a 1.
Dude, that is exactly what it looks like. I've been looking at this since I had asked you to come to be on the show, and it just looks like a lot of fun. Where did this come from?
You know, it actually came from my love of RPGs. Like, I started this before I started playing D&D, and it's basically, like those RPGs that give you a choice as to what to do, like Dragon Age and like Mass Effect and stuff. Basically, it's like I really love being the mad scientist who picks like the worst outcomes for every choice just to see like how bad things get. So like Buddy and Friend is kind of my love letter to that, where like the characters just kind of pick the worst options and see what happens.
Oh my god, I know exactly what you're talking about. I love RPGs like that too. When you're picking everything, especially that's how it was when I was playing Fable. And you play Fable, and everybody's like, "Oh, I want to be good," and I didn't do the good, but at the same time, you go, "How bad does this go?"
Yes, like usually with games like that, I do multiple playthroughs because, like I said, I'm the mad scientist that needs to test everything. So it's like, all right, well, like, what happens if I get all of my teammates killed off in like Mass Effect 2? Like, what happens in Mass Effect 3 and stuff like that? Like, you just have to see what happens.
Definitely, I always want to see what happens. That's why I like those RPGs that actually give you multiple endings or side stories, or if you do this over here, you might get an ending that's like this, or this part of the story will reveal itself. Those are always fantastic because it gives you a way to play and things to do.
Yeah, and also I think it just makes the game like feel more alive. Like it makes the characters feel more like people, where it's like, let's say you pick an option that like your entire team doesn't agree with, and like some of them might leave, or they might try to kill you, or they might try to kill each other. Like I was shocked in like Baldur's Gate when I was playing it, where it's like, you get two separate teams of teammates, and it's like at some point in the game they just start killing each other. I'm like, whoa, where did that come from?
Another game that I really enjoyed it was actually Knights of the Old Republic. I don't know if you get a chance to play it.
I didn't. It's still going, isn't it?
The online game is going. I ended up playing the original game, which was an RPG, and I think they did a sequel to it. But it was fantastic because it was actually you being what you wanted to be, whether it was a Sith or a Jedi or whatever. But your choices led you to where you needed to go.
I love it. I love stuff like that so much.
And that's one of those places to be, like in the Star Wars universe, where you can actually make a difference, or you can tell the story the way you want to tell it. I'm like, okay, look, you can tell it over here, and it's a whole world where because it's set like way in the past of the Star Wars story, so you don't have to be stuck in the storyline that's been happening all this time. Which is interesting because like we were talking in the green room. I know the fanboys tend to go crazy on the whole Star Wars. Now they get it right.
No, it has to be like this. It's not fair. I wanted it to be like that. Like, no, just choose your own adventure, my guy. It's so much more fun that way.
It's funny because I know a lot of players hate the idea of rolling a 1 in their adventures when they're playing D&D, but as a DM I love it.
Same here. I love making up like the dumbest outcomes ever. Even as a player, I had a character who was a drow who was trying to hide the fact that he was a drow, so he had like a bucket over his head. And there was like characters that kept asking him about the bucket. It was like a bucket with 2 holes cut for eyes. It was great. So I tried to roll a deception check to, lie to them about why I have the bucket, and I rolled a 1. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna take off the bucket. Like that's it.
Oh, but see, even with that, you have, as a DM, you go, okay, so go ahead, do your deception. So you do the deception, and everybody's, the whole crew knows this, but they're being nice to you because they don't want to hurt your feelings, and they don't want you to know that they know.
Right, because no one wants to metagame too.
Dude, but see that sets up a whole dynamic to the game. Now your fellow travelers are trying to help you because you feel they don't understand why you feel so ashamed. So now that they're going to be helping you too, try to hide this, but they're going to be as bad as you.
Exactly. Yeah, because I mean, my excuses were so bad. It's like, no, I'm just really fugly under here. Like that's why I have the bucket. Until like someone kept like pressing me about it, and I was like, fine, I'm gonna roll deception, and it didn't work. And yeah, rolling a 1 is so glorious. I love it.
It usually moves the story forward in glorious ways, just as glorious as a 20 does. And I don't think people understand that, or sometimes they take the game itself too seriously.
Yeah, I think sometimes people just want to win, and like sometimes it's not about winning; it's just about like seeing what the hell happens and being like absolute chaotic stupid. Dude, which is like my favorite alignment.
It's about having fun, enjoying the game. It's it's an incredible way to tell stories. Where everybody's participating in the story that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is. Like, I don't really consider it as like, oh, a game and I have to beat the game. It's just like, it's a story. It's fun. You get to be part of it. You get to shape it. But yeah, I've been fortunate to play with like other people who think the same way and not like, the power gamer who's like min-maxing. And yeah, like, I think I've only encountered like one of them in my life, luckily. And it's like, never again.
Yeah, those guys can really what is it? The game lawyers, the metagamers.
Oh God, yeah.
I want all the loot to myself.
Or like the guy who's like sitting there with the monster manual, going like, "It has 56 HP left." Like your character wouldn't know that. Like,
exactly.
Shut the hell up, Dave.
I'm like, that's metagaming. Come on, you're not even supposed to have that.
Yeah, like you're not the GM. What are you doing with that? Just sit down and shut up.
Like, excuse me, I think he should be dead already. Well, no, because if you're creating the monster, you create him a certain way, and there's certain things that happen. If you go by the book, it's going to tell you one thing, but if you create it the way it's supposed to be created, then you start explaining things, and like, now the book says.
Oh my God, yeah, the last GM I played with was like an absolute legend because he would just make up his own monsters, so it's like you couldn't find them in the monster manual anyway, even if you wanted to. And yeah, he did that because people would really just be looking up like the stats and whatever. Yeah. So it's just like, that is a power move right there, my friend.
Yeah, because as the game progresses and the whole team learns more and more about the game, you'll get 1 or 2 people that they're like, okay, they want to rise above, or I'm not sure exactly what they're trying to do.
They want to be the main character.
Exactly. I'm like, you're ruining the story. And I'm like, you guys can do whatever you want, but you're going to mess up the story that's there.
Yep. And then it's just miserable for everybody. Like they're miserable because they can't be the main character and everyone else knows what they're trying to do. And it just kind of sours the whole thing.
Oh, so you guys don't like playing with me. That's all I understood from all this.
Sorry. Womp womp.
Which is funny because Nat did this whole thing recently when we were playing with Shattermare Comics, because they created their own they created their comic book based on their D&D adventures.
Oh, that's fun.
And then they created a game based on their D&D adventures that are in the comics. So now we were test playing the game, and Nat thought he was being exactly what he was being. What he said.
No. You guys wouldn't let me jump into the pit. That was the plan, and you guys wouldn't let me jump into the pit. I rolled a 17. I should have been able to jump into the pit, but guess what? You guys wouldn't let me go into the pit.
It's not about they wouldn't let him. It's
yes, like, they said they weren't going to let me go down the pit. I want to go down the pit. They said they did not want me to go down the pit. I want to go down the pit.
You played right into their hands. We went to
the pit. They said we never thought someone would try and jump down the pit. We weren't looking for someone to go down the pit.
They did say that, but you went to the pit like they wanted you to.
Yeah, but I should have been able to go down, but they wouldn't let me. They stopped my action, and they stopped my action.
The monster showed up. What do you want?
That's them stopping my action. I rolled high enough to jump down into the pit and face death. That was the plan, but you guys stopped it.
My God, now I want to know what was in the pit.
They're actually working on editing it, so as soon as it comes out, I'll let you know.
Oh my God, please tell me. I need to know what was in the pit.
Fun.
They wouldn't let me go down the pit, so...
That is not fair. You should have been allowed to go down the pit.
That's what I'm saying.
Go down the pit. He was just gonna die. That's all.
We don't know that.
Oh my God! Yeah, as you can tell, folks, D&D is a lot of fun, especially with who you play with. But it's in the end, it's the grand thing of telling a story, and I feel this in your book here, your Kickstarter. It feels like that kind of fun you're having at the D&D table.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I like to take like the stereotypical fantasy tropes and kind of just like turn them on their head in very unexpected ways. So yeah, because you know what? Right, because like fantasy is just, it's so much fun to make fun of, because sometimes it just takes itself so seriously that it's like begging to be made fun of.
That's a definite. We've seen it over and over and over. Again, especially with the fandom. There we go. Northern Wind is giving some love. He goes, Bronx is in the building.
Yes, represent.
Awesome. Oh man. So have you been able to? Have you been taking the book on the road? Because this is not your first rodeo, as I can tell. You know, especially by watching the video that you put up. It was like you told everybody exactly what they needed to know. You gave the feel of the story. You gave the fun of the story. I was like, okay, cool. This is a really good, informative video. I like this.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's actually my 7th Kickstarter campaign, believe it or not. Like, I've been running them since 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And I have another fantasy series that I've been doing that I have 5 issues of, which is called Sacrimony, A Tale of Love, Life, and Death in no particular order. And it's a weird story in the sense that, like, it's not like about like, oh, fighting and wars or court intrigue or whatever your typical fantasy story is about. It's more of like kind of like a slice of life where like a girl died, but then she got better. And and she has like these big demon wings now, and she has to hide them from society. So it's about like her and her mom trying to navigate society while hiding her demon wings and like what becomes of that. And yeah, that's been a really interesting wild ride because, like I said, I got like 5 books of that. So I was like, all right, let me launch another series this year, which, you know, that's what sane people do, right? Oh, I also like draw and write all of this stuff myself. So that's a whole other thing.
Dude, like I envy you and I don't at the same time because that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
That means that you can actually get your projects done the way you want them to get them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely like a labor of love, and I'm glad that like people are like super duper into them. And yeah, I mean, just finding an audience of like supportive people on Kickstarter has been like completely overwhelming and like mind blowing.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I kind of like, I came out of nowhere, like it just crawled out like a little roach, and I'm just like, hey, here's my comics, guys. Like I didn't have any connections, I don't have any like formal training or anything, but like people are showing up, and like that's pretty awesome.
I have to admit, you started in 2021. It's only 2023. So, you know, even though it sounds like it's been a while, that's because of the pandemic and everything. But
right. It feels like it's been like 7 years, right?
It's only been a couple of years.
Yeah.
So let me see. You say your other book is what, 5 books?
Yeah, like it started out with like 98 backers, and then like the 5th book got like 192. So there's been a lot of like exponential growth, and I'm like, yes, I'm doing something right.
Just the fact that you got 5, and it's not even counting the 2 here, that's 7 books altogether, and that's only 3 years.
Yeah, I am a machine.
Yeah. And you're doing it by yourself, so.
I did hire people to help me flat recently, which like that is an underrated service because like people who flat are like a huge help, especially like for me, flatting is hard because it's like there's a lot of sensory overload going on where it's like there's a lot of colors to pick, there's a lot of jumping around between panels, and like sometimes it's just like you get executive dysfunction and you're just like staring at the screen like, what am I supposed to be doing? So having somebody like take that mental load off is just an absolute like lifesaver.
Oh, it's always great, especially like I know as a writer, there's times where you sit there and you read something, and you're like, I don't know. So I don't know where I'm going with this thing, and you want somebody else to read it so they can say something to you, which is funny because then you run into the other problem where you give it to somebody and they go, "That was nice."
And that's like all they say.
I need more information.
Right, like they're just like, "Great job." And you're like, "Thanks."
So what was good about it? What was bad about it? It was good, okay.
It's like, I just like the whole thing. Like, oh, well, who's your favorite character? Oh, all of them. Like, bro, did you even read this?
And then you'll ask the right question. You can tell they read it, and you're like, what the heck? Oh yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from, and you're right. It's like I said, it's amazing that you're doing this by yourself, and at the same time, I'm like, I do not envy.
It's fun and it's great. Like, I love drawing, and I draw pretty fast, which helps definitely. And
speaking of which, I love the style of that you're drawing in. It kind of reminds me of a lot of the spoof fantasy stuff that I grew up with.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, like where they would have a little cartoon at the side of like one of your books and go, this is a little story happening over here, and then we showcase it. Or you were playing World of Warcraft and they'll give you these little cartoons of the characters and they'll be done in certain ways. Yeah, this is what that reminds me of. Is the little side stories or the little fun that the creators would put together to showcase the world.
Right, or just to like throw in a little joke or something.
Exactly.
Well, then I achieved what I was going for.
See, you did it. That is that whole like one of my favorite ones is I think it was World of Warcraft. And they constantly sending you on this quest or that quest, and they would make fun of the quest because it'd be like a wizard going, "I need you to get me that book," and the book's right next to him. He goes, "But it's right there."
Oh my!
That's how silly the quests are sometimes.
I appreciate that because it's easy to think that like World of Warcraft or Warcraft in general is something that kind of takes itself seriously, but they go pretty hard on the jokes.
Oh, they do. They make fun of
even Warcraft, like when you keep clicking on the characters over and over and they start saying like funny stuff, like just like stop clicking on me, like don't you have anything better to do? Like, no, I don't. I'm gonna keep clicking on you.
I always love that. I remember we played Sonic. And then you'd walk away from the game, and Sonic would be like, "I'm waiting."
It's little things like that I really appreciate.
I think you did a great job of capturing that fun. It feels like a good fantasy story, but at the same time, you can tell that you're poking at the fantasy tropes, but you're not being hurtful. You're being you have a specific story and something in mind. You're going somewhere with it.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head because there's a lot of humor that's like really mean-spirited and it just like, makes fun of the subject matter in a hurtful way. And I try to do things in a respectful way that's just like, it shows my love for the genre as opposed to like my hatred, because I don't hate the genre. I love the genre, but I still want to make fun of it.
Exactly. Oh, dude, yeah. Some of the funnest games are the ones where I make fun of the game itself while you're playing the game. You're like, haha.
Yes, especially the ones where you get to make lots of stupid choices.
Oh, definitely.
It's like, haha, I ruined that. Like, sucks to be you guys. But also, I love this game.
Oh, dude, man, it's funny because they always tell, and I know some DMs get bent out of shape, but one of the things the first things you tell as a new DM is, dude, your story, you're gonna lovingly craft the story that you want to get together out there, but don't fall in love with it.
Oh my god!
Somebody is gonna come along and they're gonna do something, and they're gonna throw the whole thing off track.
My god, my first time DMing, I had like 30 pages of notes because I wanted to be like really meticulous and have all of my bases covered, and then like my friend Ali just like threw the whole thing off the tracks like as soon as we began, and I was like, I guess I don't need these notes. I'm gonna improv now. So like, you know, you gotta have very strong improv skills to be a GM.
Dude, one of the first things I learned was that, you know, it pays to have, but as a writer, it's something we already do. Everything in your world, well, most writers, everything in your world already has a story. Whether it's the smallest character on the side or whatever, there's a story there. Now the question is, what are you going to do with it? You know, because you know what usually happens is like, okay, so you're in the bar, and this suspicious stranger walks in, and he walks to the bar, and you know the barmaid walks over to him and gives him his drink, and she walks away, and of course everybody thinks, okay, they're going to talk to the suspicious guy, and then they go, what's the barmaid doing?
Right.
And if you just created that character and you didn't give her any backstory, you're in trouble. But if you put a backstory in that character, you're like, okay, I wasn't expecting to go in this direction, but here we go.
Yeah, I'm the kind of person that wings it a lot, even with storytelling. Like a lot of my jokes and like visual gags happen as I'm drawing it, not while I'm writing it. So it's like, it does pay to be able to just think quickly and be like, all right, well, now she has a story. Like her name is Cherry, and you know, whatever. She's a single mom, or you know, just keep going with it.
Oh, definitely, yeah. You know, and it's the fun thing is that when your players actually help you out, because they're going to give you certain information that you probably didn't even have.
Yep.
You know, and then I don't think players realize that sometimes you play off of them. You know, oh, so you want to go talk to her? Oh, you know, why do you want to go talk to her? And then you know all that stuff comes. Or the best thing is when they're talking to each other, because you know, you're in on the whole thing. You're listening to what they're saying, and you're listening to it, and you're crafting stuff in your head, going, okay.
Right, like you kind of get like some little incriminating evidence or whatever to use against them, or just like you can kind of figure out like how they're going to talk to the NPC and think about like how the NPC is going to react to what they're saying, and it's just good bouncing stuff off each other.
And it's funny, like one of the, you know, when I started my show, The Written Writ, which is the other show on Wednesdays, one of the things I wanted to do was showcase, well, you know, to start from the beginning. I realized that when you're learning to write, they give you all these books and all this information, all this stuff, and then they go, okay, write, and then they don't tell you that this is a whole journey that happens before, you know, for you to get to where you need to go.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna come on. Why don't you and I go on this journey together and figure out this whole writing thing together, which is what the show is. And then with that, I'm taking the whole process of, well, this is what made me a writer, and D&D was a huge part of me becoming a writer, because it really helps you get creative, get all the bits and pieces of information. You start off creating your own character and filling in the story for that character, and then as you become a DM, you start to fill in the stories in the world that you're playing in, which is usually somebody else's world. And then as you keep progressing, then you become that DM who starts to create their own world. And, you know, and that kind of showcases writing as it steps up, you know, because sometimes, you know, you start off with one thing and then it moves up into something else. And then you start playing in a level where write this story because this is the idea I got now.
Yeah, it's such great storytelling practice overall.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're like the kind of GM or like player that always takes notes. That's always super helpful.
I love those guys.
I do that. I used to do that. I had like a whole like blogger site dedicated to the games I was running, and I do like these really funny recaps, and like my players really loved it.
Oh, I was definitely one of those, because I would play this with the wizard, the sorcerer, and well, usually I was thrown into the role, because it would be like, okay, Ralph, if you're not this wizard and the sorcerer, I don't know where this game is gonna go. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe I just want to be the dumb barbarian. Unga bunga wungalingi. No, Ralph, we can't have this. They're gonna go get themselves killed.
Oh no. Yeah, I've always been usually like the designated cleric, because everyone else is like, oh, I want to be the fighter. I want to be, you know, I want to be the barbarian or whatever. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm healing y'all.
But it's funny because technically speaking, and I know a lot of people find this out as they play the game, the cleric is a really badass character.
Yes.
Yeah, because people just see clerics as clerics, but they're clerics.
Oh my god. Yeah, turn undead. Good stuff right there.
And they can fight. Oh boy, they can fight.
Yep. I have a soft spot for like maces, so like any class that uses a mace, because maces are so cool. They're so underrated.
Yeah. And it's funny because people always want the sword, or they want the bow and arrow, or daggers.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, but dude, how badass is a freaking mace, man? Come on, or a war hammer.
Yes, or a flail, which actually the main character from Buddy and Friend, I gave him a flail because I was like, it's such a good weapon. It's such a funny weapon because like in real life you can hurt yourself very easily with one. But also, yeah, it's a great projectile kind of thing. So I can get like a lot of like visual funniness out of it.
I gotta admit, like you hit the nail on the head, because I remember we were playing. One of our characters played this little guy. I think it was a gnome or something, and he had a shillelagh. Huh. And that was his weapon, and he and this guy could kick some major butt with the shillelagh.
Nice.
And you'd be like, he has a shillelagh. What the hell is he gonna do? And then he'd be the one.
He's gonna whoop ass. That's what he's gonna do.
They end up sitting there with his pipe in his mouth, going, "What happened to you guys, man? I already beat these guys."
Nice. I love it.
But see, that's the fun stuff that you want. I feel like sometimes people either take stories too seriously, or they take the game too seriously. And I feel like this is where I have to give you props again. You found this balance of, this is the story and this is the fun, and they're working well together, and we're going to get somewhere with it. And I feel like you really describe it well, where this is what happens. They roll a bunch of ones, and this is the story. Yeah, because rolling one is a fantastic little thing.
It's so good for storytelling. So good for storytelling. Oh yeah, not great for the overall outcome, maybe, but for the story, it's amazing.
Oh yeah, because that can turn the whole story up on its ears for completely. Nobody's gonna know where it's gonna go, what's gonna happen. Even sometimes the DM doesn't know what that particular role is gonna cause.
And yeah, that's why I liked bringing it into comic form, because it's like, while you feel like there's a lot of familiar elements, like fantasy elements, fantasy races and stuff, it's like you have no idea where it's going to go. And that's the beauty of it.
Well, that's fun, though, because sometimes that's what you want. You want a story that you want to keep reading, yet you don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, like I'm kind of tired of like, all right, well, this is, the hero's journey. This is going to happen. Hero's going to beat the bad guy, saves the day, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, we need more than that at this point.
But I think also, because I believe completely in the hero's journey, but I think people forget there's two outcomes to the hero's journey. You either become the hero or you become the villain. Now, that leaves the journey open to a lot of things happening.
This is true.
Yeah, because that means your hero's journey might lead you down the path of the villain, but you bring yourself back around, going, I don't think I want to go in that direction, but it's a great ride while you're going.
This is true.
So this is the other book you're talking about here, right?
Yep, Sacrimony. As you can see, it is a completely different art style, but still drawn by me.
I gotta admit, it's impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, because sometimes artists will stick with a certain thing, and that's what they do.
Yeah, you know what? It's like, before I like fully dedicated myself to doing comics, I was kind of like a chameleon, where I could just like copy whatever style I wanted to. I didn't really have a set drawing style, and I feel like bringing that into comics is so great, because it's like, no two comics that I do will ever look the same, or no two series, I should say, because there is consistency among each series. But like, if I did a third comic, it would look completely different from Buddy and Friend or Sacrimony, and like people would be like, wait, she did that?
That's a good thing. It's always good to keep pushing yourself forward, to keep moving yourself, or challenging yourself.
Yes, if I'm not challenged, I'm just gonna stop. I realize, like, I always have to make things like challenging enough to keep myself like entertained, but not too challenging so that I rage quit.
That is true. I know exactly what you're talking about.
There's a balance, but
I gotta admit, you have vibrant colors.
Oh, thanks. I also really love doing like overly exaggerated facial expressions in this style.
But that's fun. It tells a story. Facial expressions tell a lot of a story.
Oh, absolutely. I love facial expressions. I love gestures. Like there's so much you can do without even having the character say a word.
Exactly. You know, a lot of people get upset when people do like a silent stories. I'm like, oh no, those are great because you know they actually have to pull off. They actually have to work their butts off in order to
Yeah.
pull off a silent story.
And there's so much nuance to be studied with it too. Like it makes you actually really get in there and look at the art and like what they're saying without saying it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate people who can do that.
What are they trying to convey? What's the story here? Did I miss something when I went to look through it the first time? Because usually you do.
Yep. I usually end up reading stories at least 2 times. Like first time I just kind of look at the speech bubble, see what's going on, and the second time I really like go through it with a fine-tooth comb and like cuz I already know what's going to happen, so now I can like study like the art style better, the facial expressions, gestures and stuff.
I gotta admit, I'm happy you have this here because we always tell people, you know, when we're talking about Kickstarters, you know, they're not what you think they are. Nobody's making money off of Kickstarters unless you're really rich already or you have some good backing. You're not making money off of Kickstarter.
Yeah, you know, the thing is people think that, you know, since I draw it, I'm actually making money because they know like how much they have to pay an artist to draw a comic, and it's like, oh no, honey, I'm not making my page right on this, definitely.
No, this is a passion project. Yeah, if you're on this, you are not getting paid what you need to get paid.
No, my God, my page rate is like $160 a page, and I think I'm getting like $66 a page. It's brutal, but I mean, eventually, like hopefully, it'll pay off.
Well, it pays off just in the fact that you got the book out there. But at the same time, yeah, as the book gets out there, it'll start to build its own audience, and you'll start to make more and more money off of it. But you know, a lot of the things we say about Kickstarters is that most creators, when they go on a Kickstarter, they're not trying to make money. What they're trying to do is make more books.
Yep.
And I feel like this graph showcases that because there's no profit in any of that there.
No, most of it went to my colorists.
Exactly. Yeah, look at that. The Kickstarter fees, the comic printing, the metal comics, there's no profit there.
Yeah, no, shipping should actually be taking up more of that. Now I think about it, like shipping is a killer. My God.
Yeah, and that's why I tell people all the time. That's why you need to support these Kickstarters, is because you know you're actually supporting the book coming out, especially if you like the book. You want more of the book. The more money you put into this, the more money they can put back into the book.
Yeah, I mean, also you're getting like some really good weird stuff on Kickstarter, like things that companies are just like, oh no, that's not marketable.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so it's like some of my favorite stuff I found just through Kickstarter, and I've made some like really great comic friends through Kickstarter. And you know, you can't really say that in like the traditional publishing world.
That's true, because usually you're stuck somewhere or you're on your own doing stuff, and maybe you'll get to meet some people at a con or something if you're lucky.
At cons, what are cons? We've been in a pandemic for like 3 years. Jeez.
That's where I was going to next. Have you been able to hit the con circuit?
I might try to brave it this year. I wasn't feeling too brave last year because I'm like, I don't know, there's still a lot of gross stuff floating out there. But
I tell people all the time, dude, you were able to get con crud before all this stuff happened, you know, with COVID. So I could just imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I've had friends who have gone to cons and like 100% of the time they always come back with COVID. And I'm like, I can't really, I'm sorry if there's like a sound going on. That's my heat coming up.
I don't worry about it.
But yeah, it's like, I can't really afford to get COVID because I take care of my parents who are like, you know, 65 plus and they're disabled and immunocompromised. And it's like, if I get COVID, everyone gets COVID and some of us might not survive it.
I know the feeling, and you gotta be safe. You gotta make sure that you do what you need to do. And you know, as the conventions are coming back, some of them are safer than others, depending on where you are and where you're going. I know, like, I know certain conventions try to make sure that they're following all the rules, but at the same time, you know, people are people.
Yeah. And I mean, if you have like thousands of people in one spot, like, can you really like micromanage each and every one of them to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing?
Not really. But at the same time, as a person, you can actually take things. Dude, I can tell you this much. Ever since the new rules have been put into the conventions, I haven't gotten con crud.
Amazing. That's good to know.
Yeah, because you start wearing the mask, you start using the alcohol, because now you're being more careful with before it was like a bunch of people stuck in one place and you were like hugging and shaking hands and doing a bunch of other things.
Yeah, no, we don't do that no more.
So now everything is precise. Everything is, do I do this? What do I do this? How much do I know this person? It's a whole different place to be, and especially if you are wearing your mask and you're doing all the stuff you're supposed to be doing. Because even then, you can still get it. But I find, because Concrete was a thing because of how it was before. I think Concrete is now out of the way because a lot of the times you would get something from touching somebody or touching something somebody else has touched. And I feel like there's a lot of protections now because they're trying not to get COVID. So,
yeah, that makes sense.
And I have to admit, like, I would be one of those people that would get con crud and you come home, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I didn't touch anybody.
It's like I made contact with no one and I'm still like, I'm dying here. What is going on? Like, guaranteed I would always get con crud, like, after every con. It's horrible.
It always bugs me out when people go, "Oh, you're exaggerating, Ralph." I'm like, no, I've gotten con crud. Don't give me the exaggerating.
Con crud is real, guys. It is real.
Well, hopefully sooner or later you can hit the conventions. I think this will do very well in a bunch of the conventions, actually.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye out. Like, none of my local conventions really have announced much. So, like, I like to go for conventions that specifically gear towards, like, marginalized creators and, like, people who do their own original stuff, as opposed to just, like, New York Comic Con, where, like, no one cares about you unless you're, like, Rob Liefeld or something.
Oh, definitely. We completely understand, because we like hitting the smaller conventions here as well. And you're right. The smaller conventions actually showcase the artists, the writers,
people care about you more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Dude, we just came from Garden State Comic Fest, and that was a blast. And that was a lot of smaller creators showing off their stuff with some bigger creators in there. So it's a great balance.
Oh, nice. I've heard good things about Garden State. I had a friend who actually, like, lives around the area and does that con.
Yeah, they're all local cons. That's a Jersey con. It takes a little travel, so you need to have a car.
Yeah, which
it's a really good con.
It's outdoors, right? I think, or
they had it outdoors when they were trying to have cons while the COVID was still a thing. I think now they are usually a Menin Arena, which is a hockey rink.
Cool.
And the one that we just went to was in this huge, spacious location that's part of a farm.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, so they're trying to make sure that not everybody's stuck in one place. And I find that a lot of the smaller conventions have decided to, like, not put as many people in, so they'll make the rows bigger, which means that you don't get all bushed in with each other.
Right, you're not like sardines just ram-packed together. That's very nice of them.
Yeah. If you want, I can send you a bunch of cons you might want to hit.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that, because I've fallen out of the con circuit since, like, 2019. I think 2019 I actually did like 14 cons in 1 year, which I don't even know how I'm alive after that. But a lot of them were a huge bummer, though, I got to admit. It was one of those things where, like, there were more vendors than attendees.
One of those, yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty dead. So, I mean, I hope that, after the pandemic and stuff, like, cons will be more alive than they used to be, because they were definitely kind of, like, fizzling out in 2019.
I feel like now, especially because of the whole pandemic, you get hit and misses. Either you have a fantastic show or you'll have one of what you're talking about. But usually the bigger names, or not the bigger names, but the cons that have been around for a while, they do well. Like Garden State Comic Fest, or Cradle Con, or trying to hit the smaller ones, because the big ones always do well depending on what's going on, because people are going to go.
Yeah, I mean, the big ones are also, like, a gamble, because unless you're doing, like, fan art of, like, popular stuff, people kind of just walk on by.
Well, you might want to hit and this might do well in it, is Anime NYC.
I can never get in.
You've tried to get into Anime NYC?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much, like, competition there, and they're so picky about who they take. So, like, I apply and they're just like, sorry, we decided to go forward with other people. I'm like, yeah, I know you did.
Oh yeah,
they want like the top of like artists there. So I mean, they're like looking at your social media, they're looking at how many followers you have, they're looking at, you know, your style, they're looking at like what you actually do. I feel like as somebody who does original stuff, it's a lot harder to get into those kinds of conventions because they know that you're not really gonna like bring your own audience there to like make their con even bigger.
That does happen at times. I do feel like Anime NYC is a little different because you will find. I think they try to have independent creators there because we see a lot of them there when we go.
I mean, I will keep trying to try, and maybe one year they'll let me into their game, but we'll see.
Yeah, just keep trying. Yeah, that's all we can do.
Yep.
Let's see, dude. I gotta admit, this thing looks beautiful. Look at the colors on these things. You do a fantastic job, and it does tell a story, and it looks like a lot of fun. And our protagonist here is trying to be a hero.
Did she drop or?
Oh, she did drop. I think she's having connection issues. Well, it's a good thing we were showcasing the book. Let's see. I think she's coming back. Looks like she had a total failure of sound and video. So what do you think, Nat? What do you think of the book?
Looks interesting.
It does. I like it because it gives me that feel of one of those fun D&D games, like you trying to have over there, trying to like jump into the pit.
It's not dark enough. Not for that.
I don't know, man. I don't know what you think was dark or not dark, but you jumping into the pit was very too funny.
Oh no, that was funny. It's that I saw my master and his wife down there.
You saw the what?
You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
Remember, my character was originally a slave that was bought up by the guy.
Ah, that's right.
And so when I looked down into the pit, there was the master and his wife.
Ah, yeah, they did a nice old D&D trick where they want you to do what they want you to do.
I rewrote a character.
So I see we have you back now.
Yeah, my internet randomly has hiccups, so I had to like refresh the page.
Don't worry about it. We kept ourselves busy.
Hooray! I'm glad.
And we kept it in the vein of the book, talking about Nat and his trying to jump into the pit over there.
I need to know what's in that pit.
My master and his wife.
Ah.
See, they messed with him. So what he saw when he looked into the pit was his master and his wife, and they're dead.
Are they?
No, when we were talking in the post show, they said that they were actually still alive and were like 8 books away. Like it had no correlation to the pit.
No, if they're alive or dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even Lou was surprised that he was like, "Wait, so are we like rewriting this character?" Because remember, my character wasn't supposed to be so active and eager to like do things. He was supposed to be reserved and quiet, but no one ever told me that.
Well, that's because they wanted you to play it the way you wanted to play it, because they wanted to see what you were going to do.
And they wouldn't let me jump into the pit.
I knew you were going to say that. So what I was saying before you disappeared over there was like, I love how dynamic the book's are. The colors on it is, you really do a good job at showcasing the story, telling the story.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, look at the colors on this, folks. Dude, you guys gotta support this book. Look at this. You guys know you want this.
Yeah, you know, I got so sick of fantasy stories having just like brown and gray and dark green and navy blue. I'm just like, let me put some color here. Let me be really bold. And I do that with Sacrimony also. Like I just go crazy on the color. And yeah, it's one thing that people always notice, that like, oh, this is a fantasy story, but like, wow, this is really bright. Like, yeah, fantasy doesn't have to be dark and depressing all the time.
It's funny though, because some of the best fantasy things have been like show, like, especially like when they come into film and they do these beautiful scenery shots, and you're like, wow, then they go, okay, everything's dark again.
Yeah, oh my god. Or like all of the epic fight scenes are at night, so you can't see the bad CGI going on.
Yeah, you can't see anything or anybody.
Yep.
Oof. Oh, that's a bad hit.
That's why I love the flail. I can do like stupid things like that, like just have him off screen, like hitting somebody.
Dude, flail is one of the best ones for like action RPGs. I'm surprised they don't use it more often.
Yeah, it's so underrated. It's one of my favorite. Like maces still being like the top of the top for me, but I love flails so much.
So you pretty much showcase a big part of the book here to let the audience know what they're getting.
Yeah, I like to be generous so that people like they get a good feel for it, and then they're like, hey, you know, like let me back this and get the other half of the story. Because I usually try to put at least like a good like I don't know, like 10 to 15 pages or whatever, which is pretty much like half the book up there just to let people like really see what it is. Because I hate it when you get like a 3-page preview and you're like, I have no idea what's going on.
I agree with you.
Like I want people to see it. I want them to make a decision and just get the thing.
I can see that, and I do think you do a good job at that. That was a lot of pages there. You got a good amount of the story there. You got a good amount of the feel for the book, which is always important.
Yes.
And here, these are the tiers you got.
Yep, I got digital, I got physical. I got a tier with just everything I did in case people want to read Sacrimony as well, which, you know what, guys, you should also read Sacrimony. Read it first before Buddy and Friend because it'll make you sad, and then you can read Buddy and Friend afterwards, and it's like your little hit of Prozac. Yeah.
I gotta admit, like, I'm always surprised when a creator has previous works and they don't put it in the Kickstarter, and I'm like,
that should be a crime.
Maybe they want to see something else.
Yeah, no, dude, just throw it all there and like just throw all the spaghetti on the floor and see who eats it. Like that's what I always say.
Oh man, look at this. Just beautiful. Sponsor a page. I saw this upstairs, and up higher on our scroll here. So what's this?
The sponsor page is basically me saying like, hey guys, I don't really make a livable wage on here, but if you want to cover like the artwork for one page, like, basically my page rate, well, you can do that. You'll get an autographed book, or since it's 2 books, you'll get like an autographed 1 and 2, and you'll also get a metal print of the page that you sponsored, so you can like love and cherish it forever.
Ooh.
And you'll also get credit in the PDF.
That's a good idea. I don't think I've seen this before.
I've seen a few people do it, so like I can't take credit for inventing it. I kind of cribbed it off of someone else, but like I thought it was a good idea, and people have taken me up on it with my Sacrimony pages, which are a lot more expensive than the Buddy and Friend pages because, the artwork is more elaborate, it takes more time. But like, the fact that there are people out there who are like, yes, I will pay you for 1 page of your comic is just like, I'm like, this is amazing.
It is, and it also makes you feel good, and also makes you feel like you're doing, you're actually doing something.
Yes, absolutely. Or like I'm doing something right that these people like they want to see me going. They want to see me like, keep putting out books. And it's so much warm fuzzies. I love it.
I gotta admit, I like these special covers because they remind me of our RPGs.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, they happened kind of serendipitously because I was originally gonna like do regular like black inks and then like color them in like how I color everything else. But I was just like, you know what? I like the way the sketches look much better. Like I like the vibes of the sketches. So like, let me just work around that instead.
Because it kind of reminds me of one of those cards that has a character on it.
Yeah, and it's also kind of like a bit graffiti-ish, I guess. Like someone said that they had like a graffiti look, and I was like, yeah, Bronx represent, right? We got graffiti everywhere.
You got to represent, man.
Yeah.
Us New Yorkers, it's how we grew up.
It is absolutely surrounded by graffiti.
Exactly. And thank you. And dude, you got a really well put together book here. I really do think people should check it out. Let's see. You are at 2,199. You're almost there. You got 11 days to go. You'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not freaking out about this because like I've done like 6 campaigns before, so I kind of know like how it works, where it's like the first 3 days are like super exciting, and then there's like that lull that goes on, and then within like the last 2 days everyone's like, oh my god, I almost forgot to back the thing, let me go back the thing, and then like that's when the total starts shooting up.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about the same thing, where you get the boost in the beginning and the boost at the end. and where the middle is just the middle.
Yeah, I feel like the middle, like no matter how much you scream on social media and whatnot, like back the thing, like people still haven't made up their minds until like the last 2 days of the campaign anyway. So like I'm just chilling, just hanging out, making more comics behind the scenes, and like it'll get there.
Izzy saying hi.
Hey. Izzy.
I saw that you know Izzy.
Yeah, Izzy's a sweetheart.
Oh, Izzy's great. We love teaming up with him. We love having fun with him. And him and Nat are having a fight over here.
No.
Izzy's show. Izzy's show is right before ours, and you can win stuff on Izzy's show, and Nat's going, it's rigged.
Ralph, we were live during the announcement. Like, you don't know what #rigged is. You don't know what #rigged is. You were live during the announcement.
Now we're changing the story. See, that's what you're saying, but it's all good, right?
There's like 5 of us who was saying #rigged in his chat.
Oh, you're all messing with Izzy. That's messed up.
Yes, you don't know.
Oh, that is messed up. You know, folks, go check out Izzyverse. He does a show at 6:30, showcasing all the books that are coming out in the week coming, and talking about all the good stuff, like last night's trailer premieres for The Flash and Guardians of the Galaxy.
And then he rigs his award so that way the same person from last week wins again.
Hey,
you've won before, so I don't know about that.
Where's my prize?
Oh man, yeah, we all geeks over here.
I love it. I love that like almost everyone who does like podcasts and live shows and stuff, like they just know each other. It's so great.
It's funny because what ends up happening is you go to the conventions and you start to see everybody over and over and over. So you start to form like a family.
That's so great.
And see, we saw Izzy at Big Apple Con, and Izzy actually had a table, and he was introduced to me by another friend of ours. And ever since then, we've been all buddy.
Nice. I love that like camaraderie. Instead of people being like, "Oh, that's my competition. He is doing a show, and I'm doing a show, and we're competing." Like, no, we're all just like, we're just hanging out here.
Geeks and nerds.
Izzy's my competition.
Oh.
He's rigging things.
Shots
that way other people don't win.
When you don't win, he rigs things. But when you do win, it's not a rig, right?
Listen, the one time I did win was because I had many alt accounts because we needed people for that raffle.
It. So you were rigging it. So you're admitting to it, huh?
No. We need the raffle. We need the raffle count.
I know. You were helping Izzy out.
but Ralph, you need to send Izzy the link because he wants the link. So where can they go and get and support the Kickstarter? Send him the link.
Dude, I can give you the link right now. Hold on 1 second. I'll put it right into the comment section, and you can go support this because this.
So you can go check it out at youtube.com/Izzyverse.
Oh, you mean his show?
No. The campaign. You can find the campaign on #/Izzyverse.
We can find Sorcier's campaign at Izzyverse.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. I'm not following.
Yeah, my brain kind of like melted a little.
Oh, so it's not just me, right?
No, it's not just you.
I was like, I think something broke. Well, if you guys want to, I just put the link to the Kickstarter into the comment section. That way it makes it easier for you guys to go find this and go follow it.
Yes, please back it. It is stupidly funny.
I know that campaign link. I'm talking about
StreamYard. You should have said so earlier. I could do
that. He wants to come in on the show?
Aw, hooray.
Yes.
Izzy wants to come in. All right. We'll send you the link, Izzy.
Izzy's crashing the show.
Should have led with that.
Yeah, you should have just said, I want to come on the show, Ralph. We always let Izzy on.
Check your messages, Izzy.
Now, awkward silence as everyone waits for Izzy to see if he pops up on the screen. Roll for it there.
We got like a 2-minute delay.
Oh yeah, that bugs me out when I'm watching the show and I have it on both places, and there's this delay to what we're doing, and I'm like, what the? So yeah, this book is fantastic. I like what you have here. I really want everybody to go and support you, because this needs to be supported, and we need to support each other. The best way to rise, like we say here on Bit and Apple TV, is to raise each other up.
Yeah, and I gotta say, like, comedy is such a hard sell.
Yeah.
Like, from what I've seen so far, like, it's definitely underrated. So it's like when you're like, oh, I'm doing a comedy, and people are like, comedy.
I don't understand why, though. Here we go. And from the Izzy Show, here is Izzy himself, Mr. Izzy.
Hashtag rigged.
Nate,
Hashtag
you are a sore loser.
I knew you were going to say it. I was expecting
Hashtag rigged.
Such a sore loser, man.
I mean, you're gonna tell me Cole is able to win multiple weeks in a row,
dude?
It happens.
That's what happens when you have a low number of entries, dude. What do you want me to tell you?
I
know. But Cole was cool about it, and he said, "Let's do it again."
Oh, okay. I wasn't able to stick around for that.
Exactly. Part. You see, all that for nothing. You know,
after all of us saying right? After all of us saying
Oh my God!
What's up, man?
Next time, just say, put me on the show.
I've been dying to get you.
Aw. Well, we're all here. Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing. I see Sacramone's doing great. So what we got going on now? And he was like, "Send me the link." I was like, I know the link of her stuff.
All right, so now you get to do your spiel all over again. Go ahead, tell Izzy what's going on.
All right. Well, I am doing my new series, The Misadventures of Buddy and Friend, which is a fantasy comedy that reads like a D&D campaign where everyone rolls a 1.
Sweet. I love it. Absolutely love it, man. You definitely got to check your stuff out. Man, I was so happy that when you got the other campaign, and I was listening in because, Matt wasn't letting me in. He was too busy complaining about the fact that he was rigged.
I sent you that link. It took you minutes to open it.
Dude, man, you have, when you send a link in Messenger, especially if you're on your computer, right? Because I'm not going to go through my phone. You know what I'm saying? So I have to go to my computer. I got to go log in. I got to go into Facebook.
I don't have you anywhere else. I'm not going to drop it into the public chat.
I didn't say you were going to drop it in the public chat. I'm telling you, I'm trying to tell you that you have to be patient for me to get in here. And
you're the one saying it took too long, and I was holding up the line.
No, you weren't. You thought it was a different type of link altogether, man. What's up, Ralph?
Dude, I was trying to get onto your show today, but I got busy over here.
Oh man, did you get a chance to see Matt's show today? So Comics by the Bay, he's over at Florida, right? So he was just playing with his iPhone. This is the best part. He was playing with his iPhone, and all he did was he put his phone on his window, right, so that you could see the outside of his house, right? So you got to see his road, and the whole video was just seeing his road. The most exciting thing was seeing the Amazon truck pass by.
Oh, dude, I would watch that. I would watch that.
He's like, should I just keep the stream going? I was like, yeah, man, keep the stream going.
What's gonna happen next?
I would watch that.
And then there was one moment that there was like grass in the way, so you see him leave the house. Well, you didn't see him leave the house, but he left the house.
The grass in the way.
No, he cut the grass, so you see him cutting the grass.
You should have left the grass in the way.
So I told him we better start something new with this. Like we just do ASMR comics shows or something like that.
I was gonna say, like, that's a good like ASMR thing to have. Just like ASMR road.
So now,
listen, if he did it on Twitch, he would be competing with the guy who made paint dry, and people watched it in droves.
Oh my goodness! And here I am, like struggling to get people to watch my show, and all you gotta do is just put your camera on and just leave it playing in the background.
Dude, yeah, we're doing the wrong thing here.
A lot of creators do that though.
Yeah,
they just leave Here, watch the movie that you guys can watch on your own.
No, I'm gonna eventually do that because I have
just want to see dry things.
Well, I have an amazing view of New York City. So I live in the 9th floor of my building, and we have this tremendous view. It's one of the main reasons why we got this apartment. And hey, he had me thinking about it. I was like, man, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that over here. I'm gonna do my version and just show you what my look. But I have to do it like around 6:30, so when the sun's going down. The sky has all sorts of colors, man. It's crazy.
Oh, that sounds good.
So you're saying we could see it if you just walk out of your comic book shop that you're in right now? We could just see that view?
Yeah, if you walk outside the comic book shop. Yeah, as you can see, I never leave the comic book shop. I'm here in Squiggy's dugout right now, and we ain't going nowhere.
I like that it always looks like you're at the comic shop.
You can't see it, but there's actually a ball and chain around his foot, so he can't leave the comic shop.
Exactly.
Let's see here. I don't know if I have any of my other virtual backgrounds. Oh yeah. Let's see here. Okay, there you go. I'll give you another place that I'm at.
Oh.
There you go. I think I'm in Tatooine or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know, but there's still a ball and chain around his neck.
Exactly.
It's even worse. It's even worse going on back there. So
now the Empire's going to control you, man. That's not a good thing.
Okay. Let me show you my real apartment.
Oh
wow.
Yeah.
We're showing it live.
Yeah, this is what you get when you work for the city.
Yeah, I know. That's all of our tax dollars going to work.
There you go, right there. Keep on taking care of your kids.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
that's why we love Izzy here, folks.
I'm tired too. I had some kind of dinner. That's the hard thing.
Were you able to eat after your show, or did you just jump in over here?
So what I do is I try to have the appetizer before the show, and then I have dinner after the show.
So what you're saying is you have dinner and a show?
No, haha. So I'll have like soup at like 5:30, like old people, and then the thing is, the problem was my daughter gave me a slice of pizza, and I was like, I think I had dinner. So, but that's how it is for me. Enough about me, man. This is not for me, man. My name's not in the title.
It could be.
You're not winning next week.
I don't even have that power. I can't change it. This isn't my show.
All right, folks. I'm going to play the video because I think she did a great job explaining
That's
things.
why he not won.
Let's see how it plays.
All right.
Do it.
Hi there. I'm Matta Sorcier, self-taught artist and writer and creator of The Misadventures of Buddy and Friend. The Misadventures of Buddy and Friend is a lighthearted story chock full of dark humor. If you're into Monty Python or Mel Brooks sort of humor, or if you spent your teenage years binge reading 8-bit theater like I did, then you're in pretty good company. So, like, you know how some fantasy stories start off with a tavern brawl and the main hero swoops in and kicks all the bad guys' asses and he saves the day and everyone's like, yay, thank you, Mr. Hero, you totally saved the day and we're eternally grateful and all that other stuff? Yeah, no, that doesn't happen here. Instead, Buddy thinks he's being the hero by trying to stop the tavern brawl, and he ends up pissing off the wrong people and getting his ass kicked. One thing leads to another, and Buddy finds himself in the slammer, now faced with the dreaded task of community service. In order to cheat the system and complete his sentence, he seeks help from a mysterious barbarian who is on a much more important quest, which involves saving the world. The whole world. Will these two unlikely allies be able to appease the justice system of the town of Kings Pleasant? If they do, will they be able to survive giant spiders and an impending demon invasion? You'll have to read the comic to find out. Which is why I'm here, on Kickstarter. I don't know how else to say it, but Kickstarter is absolutely amazing. I've been launching books on this platform since 2021, and I've been overwhelmed by the amount of support that people have shown for my comics. Not only am I getting my books out there directly into the hands of people who want to read them, but I'm also making connections with readers, and readers are connecting with me, and it's just a good time all around. This campaign is for issues 1 and 2 of Buddy
buddy and friend. Aside from physical and digital books, I have some very cool variant covers, cute magnets, metal covers, and lots of unlockable goodies with stretch goals and milestones. So if you're looking for a ridiculously funny fantasy tale that reads like a D&D campaign where everyone rolls a 1, you should totally check out the Misadventures of Buddy and Friend. Thank you so much for your support, and keep an eye out, because there'll be many, many more books to come.
Great job.
Thank you.
I gotta say, like I told you, I saw the video. Like, dude, you really like explained everything. You put everything out there. How did we lose Izzy?
Oh no, there he is.
That was me. I did that on purpose.
Oh, okay. I thought we lost you. I was like, what happened? Yeah, but you did an excellent job at explaining all that. It's a very well, like if I wanted to put the video up by itself and showcase it, it can go up and everybody would know what's going on.
Thank you. Yeah, I like to avoid misunderstanding, so I try to be as clear about things as possible.
You do a good job.
Thanks.
I personally just love the art style with the lights, the use of lighting. It's one thing that it has a very animated tone, but it's another thing when you know how to use your lighting.
Yeah.
I love lighting.
Yeah, same here.
It's fascinating just to like figure out how light like reflects off of stuff and just how it acts. Like it's part of like one of those things where people would be like, oh yeah, it's a simple art style or whatever, but there's a lot of technical knowledge behind that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just the lighting alone is advanced to heck. Because a lot of artists don't even think about it.
Yeah, like how light bounces off of different surfaces, like different textures, or even just like different curves, like how like I don't know how your eye sockets are, or, like where your nose should be. It's interesting to think about those things. Like even though they don't have noses, you can tell that there's still like a nose there.
Yeah, and then the absence of it all, right? I also personally, I think reflective light is always cool. So like you could have a shadow on one side, but then on the other side you have this like little white line of white light.
Yep. Like
Backlighting, all that stuff is really cool.
Lighting on metal. I love doing lighting on metal, which is great because there's a lot of metal on these characters, so I get to show it like shining in different ways. That
is cool. It's awesome. I'm so happy that your book is doing good. 81 backers right now.
Yeah,
that's good.
Pretty great. Yeah, I mean it's a new series that like I launched. So, you know, it's books 1 and 2, and I'm like, yes, I'm almost funded. This is great. Like, I don't have to stress out about it.
Until you get stressed out about it.
Exactly.
I mean, I've done enough campaigns by now to know how it goes, where it's like all the excitement is in like the first and last days. So we're just kind of chilling and coasting until, you know, the last 3 days happen and people are like, oh yeah, I was supposed to back the thing. And then they go and they back the thing.
That's the only time when you start to worry is when you're getting down to the last couple of hours. You're like, son of a.
Oh my God, I'm so fortunate that I haven't had to be in the spot where I'm like, you know, down to the wire and I haven't been funded. Like I'd be curled up into a ball and like screaming in a paper bag or something. Like,
that's why you send out all your text messages, all your Twitter feeds, everything. It's like, hey, do you know there's only 32 minutes remaining on the
and we still need $3,000. Like, oh my God, I would tear all my hair out at that point.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I try to set my goals to be reasonable so that like I can get it funded without stressing out.
Well, it'll be awesome one day. What I would love to see, and this is not for you. This is for another Kickstarter that I don't really care about. I want to see them come on screen and just cry.
Oh my God.
Just see them cry to win. It's like just the tears coming. It's like, listen, be like, listen. I work really hard. Works like my father would cry like that. I work so hard.
Oh my God.
So hard to get this book done. And you people, you need to help me. I only need $2,452.30. I'm struggling. I'm trying so hard. I'm giving away books that Nate can't win. But
no, what got me was the cents, bro. That's like so New Yorker. Like, who else actually counts the cents?
For New Yorkers, yeah.
Well, my favorite is 99 cents. Like, I would tell somebody, it's like, who was it? I was in a convention and they were selling like comic for like $4.99. And I'm like, I get it, like, major companies do that stuff, but I'm like you're an indie guy, you know what they're doing, right? And it was like, yeah, it's like it's say $5. It's not that hard.
Especially at a convention, like who is walking around with exactly 99 cents on them, and who is walking around with that 1 penny's worth of change to give when someone gives you $5.
But then they'll throw out oh, it's tax. It's like, who's good? The tax is more.
Exactly.
There's no such thing as a 1 penny tax.
Yeah, the tax comes out to like 56 or 73 usually. Like it all comes down to from either if they're from the US or if they're from Canada.
You get that Canadian coin. So when I when I come home from work, I have to transfer from the E train to the D train, and it's in West 4th Street. So
yeah.
So West 4th Street, there's a newsstand vendor, right? And he sells candies, chips and drinks, right?
Yeah,
and
I know which one you're talking about.
Every time I go, for some dumb reason, I always have like a 5 with me or something like that, right? And he'll get like a drink for like $2, right? I'll get me a Snapple for $2. So I'll give him the $5. You know what he does to me every single time without failing? He gives me $3 back. He gives me 2 singles, and then he gives me like a Susan B. Anthony coin.
Interesting.
Yep.
Every single time. And I'm like, part of me is just like, dude, I don't want the coin.
Where is he getting all the coins?
I don't know, but apparently he's saving them up for me.
Yeah, you can get them from the machine because the machine pays you back in dollar coins.
So pretty much that must be the token machine, right?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Or I was thinking maybe he fell for the scam of like, collect these Susan B. Anthony coins. They're going out of style. And it's like a sunk cost fallacy thing now. And he's like, I have all of these coins. Let me just give them out.
I remember that. I remember collect the Susan B. Anthony dollars.
Oh, was that really a thing?
Yeah, it was.
That's an interesting
remember the
time.
Susan B. Anthony, for those of you who don't know, they used to be like, they're like almost like a hexagon pattern to it.
Yeah.
They weren't circular.
No.
They were like some hexagon. I don't know what the kind of gun is it. And I'm like, what am I gonna do with this coin? You know what ends up go to my daughter's pocket. It's like, here you go, hon. Because like everywhere I go, you know where you go and there's like a tip jar. No matter what I get, I always put the change in the tip jar because I don't want to walk with change.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. Keep the change. Just give me my dollars.
Yeah, nobody wants change just like jingling around, and then you have to like try to scramble to find it like in the corner of your bag or your pocket.
I gotta say, I like jingling, so
I don't.
I like walking around going
silently.
Nate looks like he has a question.
No, I collect the coins. I literally, whenever I get change, I go through the coins.
He actually goes through them. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool though.
You'll be surprised how much some of these coins and dollar bills are actually worth.
Yeah, they're worth $1, 25 cents.
How much do you think a $2 bill is worth?
A $2 bill?
Yeah,
$1.75.
No, those are like actually $6 right now.
Really? Because I have like 2 of them just sitting around.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you send it to CGC, get it slabbed, spend $25
slabbed?
Because it's precious, isn't it? You want to preserve it.
Yeah, but you don't do that for slabs. You get it graded instead.
No, I said get it graded, then get it slabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna get it slabbed. I'm gonna get it graded, then I'm gonna put it inside a container. That way, it doesn't get any light touching it.
And therefore, you will never get that $6 for those $2.
Hey, with inflation, that price is gonna rise.
Oh yeah, like everything else.
Yep.
You can't even buy eggs with that $2 bill.
Oof. I went to buy eggs today, and there were no eggs.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It was very sad.
It sounds about right.
Yeah.
There were literally no eggs.
Just by owning eggs and selling them on the corner.
That's why a couple of my friends have chickens now.
You know?
Your friends got chickens. What kind of friends do you have now?
You can keep chickens in the city, man.
What do you think kind of friends I have?
You got chickens?
there.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of houses in our area that just keep chickens.
In the morning, you'd be like, cock-a-doodle-doo. I'm like, shut up.
Oh, they have the rooster. Oh, no. They could actually get in trouble for that.
Yeah, I know. Because I've heard they've been reported a couple times.
Ooh.
All right. So let them know where they can find you and all the good stuff so they can go support this beautiful Kickstarter, which they should be doing right now.
They absolutely should, because it is just a great time. It is a stupidly funny comic. You can find the Kickstarter at buddyandfriendcomic.com. That's all one word, buddyandfriendcomic.com. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Matta Sorcier, which is MattaSorcier, on Twitter and Instagram, which is where I lurk.
It's good to know. And Izzy, go ahead. Tell them your stuff.
You know where to find me, Izzyverse NYC. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, shaking my booty somewhere. Right? You laugh, but Ralph was present on that recording.
Yeah, I was there when he shook his booty.
Excellent.
You know, good stuff there. But yeah, that's where you can find me, Izzyverse NYC, Izzyverse on YouTube. We hit 1,600. Now we're working on 1,700. We're gonna
ask you how far close you are to the 2,000.
Well, 400 away. 400, actually 395 last I checked.
Ooh.
So we got to get that. We got to get those 395 to get to that 2K. 2K equals 2 slabs and 2 of everything else.
Let's go.
So it should be fun.
I've been trying to get to 2,000 for 2,000 years.
Oh,
it's because you need to shake your booty in TikTok. That's what I told you, man.
Izzy's onto something.
We were at 3,000 something, and then YouTube went, "We don't like you anymore."
Yeah, it's because you brought Nate into it, man. Everything's rigged.
No, I brought us up. I gave us a good boost.
And he gave us the second boost.
Shoot, I made the most popular video on the channel.
Which was the second boost? And,
which is the popular video?
Guess the fake characters featuring Ralph and Cadma.
Oh, okay. I gotta check that one out because I don't think I've seen it.
That one's like 45 minutes long.
If you like history and you like all that stuff, you'll love it.
Well, Matta did mention something earlier that I wanted to tell you guys. Do you guys know the History of the World Part 2 is coming out in Hulu, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You do it. As soon as I saw the commercial, I was like, I gotta see this.
I'm like, oh man, the sequel. I thought that was gonna end with Part 1 and never happened.
Well, that's because he's been teasing the sequel for ages.
Yeah, since the original came out in 1981.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that movie. I love that movie.
That also makes me feel kind of old. But...
It makes me kind of feel old.
That stuff, I'm like, oh my god.
I was around during that time. So...
I wasn't around during that time.
I wasn't around yet, but I was following close behind.
You were in their thoughts.
Exactly.
They were trying to get rid of me already. I think. Let me see. At that age, I'm trying to think. I probably already was in school.
Yeah, I was already. I was in my second school already. I think I was in 6th grade. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 7th grade.
Mm-hmm. So.
7th.
Good stuff. Now trying to figure out how old everybody is. I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's this.
All right, Nathan, what do you got?
The usual today. I'll have a Whopper, chicken Whopper, ketchup, mayo, pickles, onions, perfect toppers.
I knew you were going to say something.
Yeah.
Five guys. Five guys, not Whopper. Whopper's
no. We're on the meme train today. Okay, we got the Whopper, Junior, Double, Triple Whopper. I like lettuce, pickles, ketchup. Because is
that all one sandwich? Is it like a gigantic Whopper with?
No, it's just a bunch of Whoppers.
Okay, so they're not stacked up; they're side by side.
Yeah,
I need to know the configuration of these Whoppers so I can get a good mental picture.
It's a current meme.
Yeah, Matt knows most of the memes.
I'm like such an old man when it comes to memes. I'm like, what's that? A Whopper.
It's a meme.
I'm still on Piano Cat, man. What are you talking about? Keyboard Cat.
That's one of the classics.
Legend, absolute legend.
Keyboard.
All right,
that
Nat,
cat must be dead.
What do we got on the screen, Nat?
This is the Floof Schmallow Lunar New Year piece featuring her own original character called Usagaomi.
She did a good job with this, man. This is beautiful.
Yes.
Very good color scheme.
And so if you like this and you want to support her and the Bitten Apple, you can go over to her Instagram and Twitter at Floof Schmallow and give her likes and follows. And she does really good stuff.
Definitely. Look at it. You gotta love Floof Schmallow. She does amazing work. Go check her out. And of course, we all remember that she did her special pins here with Bitsy Tandem from Esoterra. So, go check that out. You got a lot of stuff happening there.
Yes.
And folks, I think that brings us to the end of the show. And of course, unlike my other show where I'll just keep talking till it ends, this time this happens.
Whopper, Junior, Double, Triple, Whopper, Single, Steak with perfect toppings. How you say? Lettuce, mayo, pickles, ketchup. It's okay if I don't want the Impossible or Bacon Whopper or any Whopper my way. You rule. You're seizing the day at BK. Have it your way. Whopper, Junior, Double, Triple, Whopper, Flame, Grill, Taste with perfect toppers. I rule this day.
I was wondering what he was going to do this time.